You're entering your fifth year as CEO. You're in such a different place than you were even 6 months ago. Your stock is actually holding up better than every single one of your rivals. But the reality, too, is here that everyone is preparing for what could be a mild or even deeper recession. As the CEO of Goldman Sachs, how do you prepare your bank for that?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I'm delighted to be here with you, and I appreciate your being at our financial services conference. This is the 33rd year. We've got a terrific group of clients here, and it's a great time to kind of reflect on our industry and really look at our industry going forward. I think you framed it just correctly. We're at a very uncertain time, given we're changing monetary and economic conditions very, very quickly, and that's certainly having an impact of slowing down economic activity. And so if you're running a big financial services firm, I think you have to assume that we have some bumpy times ahead, and you have to be a little bit more cautious with your financial resources, with your sizing and the footprint of the organization. I think you have to expect that activity levels are going to be more constrained in a tougher economic environment. So we have businesses that are very, very correlated to economic growth in the world, and we're predicting economic growth will slow. Our economists predict 1.9% economic growth around the world in 2023, which is obviously slowing growth. And the big question is, as central banks tighten monetary conditions and try to control inflation, can they do that and orchestrate some sort of a soft landing? And I think that's still uncertain. I think there's a possibility of that, but I certainly think we could see a recession in 2023 also. And so I think you've got to be cautious and prepare.
How then do you prepare your staff around all of this? It's December, it's the end of the year. People are worried about jobs. People are thinking about jobs. They're thinking about pay as well. It's bonus season coming up. We've reported that you are even thinking about having lower bonuses at businesses that will have rising revenue this year. How are you thinking about this? Bring us inside your decision-making process and what you're telling your staff right now.
Well, we operate a business where every single year we have to pay our most important asset, which is our people. It shouldn't be surprising to people watching the performance of the business this year that 2021 was an exceptional year. It was a record year for the firm. It was the highest net revenue year ever for the firm. 2022 is a different year, and so naturally, compensation will be lower. We're still early in the process of making those decisions, but just like every year, we pay for performance, and we will pay people based on the overall performance of the firm, and especially for our senior people, we consider the overall performance of the firm as we go through our compensation process.
How do you balance also, this year you'd reintroduced the natural culling of headcount. The bonus discussion is not just here, it's obviously everywhere on Wall Street. How do you balance that with kind of the story that we saw just a year ago, this talent war that we saw, this booming market for people, and what's happening this year going into next year into tougher times? How do you balance retention as well as those more difficult conversations?
Well, we take a very long-term view with everything we do, and you have to adjust to the environment, and so you make changes around the margin, but at the same point, you take a long-term view and you try to think about your business over time. We're extremely focused on serving our clients and our core businesses. Our clients have been active, and so it's important for us to strike the right balance in protecting our franchise and making sure that our people are paid for performance. On the other hand, we're in an environment that's a tougher environment broadly. Performance is not as strong, and so we balance that. But we take a long-term view. Our people take a long-term view. But I just made some comments in the Financial Services Forum where I said that I'm surprised by how resilient the competition for talent is. And by the way, this is just not in our industry. You're seeing across the United States and around the world that labor is still relatively tight.
Talent war is not over.
The talent war is I think there's some headwinds given we're changing economic conditions, but the competition for talent is still very, very strong. Now, how that evolves in 2023 is unknown. Certainly, if we have a slower economic environment, it will have an effect. You can see across all industries, not just tech, that people are thinking about their headcount size and they're making, let's say, pruning cuts or adjustments just because they feel more margin pressure coming. So financial services is not immune to that, and I think we all have to watch the environment and make the right long-term decisions for our organizations and for our shareholders.